You preached a memorable sermon at the Academy of Homiletics on No Enemy, No Christianity, in which I heard it as a plea to, hey, preachers, never forget you're up against something here. It ain't like you're speaking into this innocent, receptive void. You're speaking to people who already believe. They already have a God. They already have a gospel. You're arguing with that. You're clashing with that.
I remember that a bit, and it was right after we bombed Iraq. What would it meant to have preached at Camp David right after?
Yeah.
And I actually know one of my students at that time was a Navy chaplain.
Mm-hmm.
And his first duty was to be the chaplain at Camp David.
Wow.
And his first Sunday there was the Sunday after we had bombed Iraq. I had told him, I'm sure the president is sincere. It just shows you how little sincerity has to do with being moral. And he said all he could think of as the president was sitting there in the front row was my telling him that he's sure the president was sincere. Just goes to show you how little sincerity has to do with being moral.
I remember you telling me 9/11, on my drive back home, I called you knowing I was having to preach on the Sunday after 9/11, Duke Chapel. And I remember, I said, come on, Stanley, give me some help here, give me some. And what I heard from you was, I don't know. And you said, thank God I'm not a preacher this Sunday. That wasn't very helpful. But then you said, before we closed, I remember you said, hey, this is probably not the right Sunday for you to take out your animosity towards George Bush. Don't do that in the sermon. And I think that was good advice. I also remember at the beginning of the Iraq War, we had a prayer vigil in front of the chapel one morning, and you were one of the only faculty types who showed up for that. We're all in a circle. And all the prayers, including mine, were, Lord, hold back our country from going into this unjust war, stop this. And you kind of rounded it out by saying, Lord, be with George Bush. He probably thinks he's doing the right thing. Forgive us for being the kind of people who ask George Bush to protect us and all. And it was not the prayer many of us wanted to pray, but I thought you were being a great preacher.